My name's OMAHNI Kenyatta. For those of you who don't know me, for those of you who do know me, you probably know what I'm about to talk about, pretty much. But I guess I'll start by saying I appreciate my experience in the South. Uh, Not too far where my father grew up in Glenville, Georgia, and not too far from where one of my greatest inspirations, John Henrik Clark, was born in Union Springs, Alabama. I appreciate my experience in the South and witnessing the continuous change. I have no illusions about the South, unlike some people, changing to the point where it's not all of what it used to be when my father lived here. It's still part of what it used to be, though there's been some cosmetic changes, you know. Cosmetic change is almost like a woman's makeup. You take it off and forget about it. Some days you don't bother wearing it. Now, my subject for today is a subject that a lot of people have stayed away from. You know, for academic reasons, tenure reasons, job reasons, personal relation reasons. They don't want to even discuss the African Revolution. Some cowards don't even want to call it a revolution. And they are not willing to say why our parents failed. And they certainly are not willing to say what we will have to do to make it succeed. If we are now a people at the crossroads of history, then we are not at the crossroads only of our history, we are at the crossroads of human history. We are on the cutting edge of the history of man. So why have we not asked the question, how African people, a people so potentially powerful, could have such little power? A people, the most diverse people on earth, spread throughout the world. There is not a human society in the world that we have not touched and influenced. So why then, if we are the rightful owners of a piece of real estate called Africa, 12 million square miles, full of the richest mineral God ever created, God and nature, and for those of you who know me, you know that for me, God and nature are one and the same. Why then are we so poor? Who's managing our wealth? And who dares manage us while we allow the mismanagement of our wealth? How can we possibly call ourselves an independent people with independent states when the only way you can be independent is to manage all of the wealth-producing resources of the country that you own? I'm not talking about the country you invaded and stole, killing millions of people in the process. I'm talking about the country that is the historical geography of your early development and birth. So why do we own so much and manage so little? And why is there so much confusion among us based on pure man-made nonsense? And why do we go to war with each other over organized religions without understanding that all organized religions were brought to countries by foreigners, fakers, and fools. Not to forget the missionaries. We had a way of life, a spiritual way of life, superior to all organized religions. Why then did you let foreigners bring to you something that put you against your own brother, made you go to war against your own brother, turn your back while foreigners rape your sister and your mother and enslave your fathers, and do it all in the name of a God they taught you and neglected the God you created? Something happened to your mind. You programmed yourself into a position where any foreigner with any kind of strength could take over the destiny of your country and your people. There are countries in Africa right now so damn weak, a good Boy Scout troop could take them over. What's the excuse? When you find the strongest thing about a people, look on the flip side, and you'll find the weakness. The strongest thing about African people throughout the world in relationship to other people has always been our ability to be hospitable to strangers, to recognize the humanity of the stranger. The weakest side about African people is that too many times we are more kind to these strangers than we are to our own relatives. We invite the stranger for dinner and forget that we haven't even fed our children. This is the kind of kindness that is open to serious question. Now, what am I talking about? African people at the crossroads, talking about an African revolution that should have occurred, that did not occur in its true sense. African people at the crossroads. What crossroads? The crossroads of human history, talking about the golden opportunity our parents fumbled because they could not find themselves on the map of human geography. And they kept identifying themselves with other people, sometimes other people who were failures. And we are still doing this. No, you couldn't go to Africa and understand the nature of the social systems in Africa that not only predate Karl Marx, they predate Europe itself. But no, you've got to go and get the European version of socialism. You can't read enough European garbage to go back and understand that an African pharaoh, Akhenaten, 1,300 years before the birth of Christ, announced the same theory from a throne and practiced it. The European announced the theory and betrayed it. Every humane theory that the European has ever announced, he has betrayed it. Christianity, Marxism, democracy, humanity itself. They have never lived up to any of this, and yet you will follow them like fools with empty baskets, hoping to collect some of their droppings in order to create something for yourself, all the while neglecting the richness of your own that you need to cultivate.